Welcome to the Critic Seat. Today we're diving into the buzz around a film called Bob Trevino Likes It. We've got this really interesting collection of reviews and info here, and the plan is to unpack what makes this film tick, why it's getting such varied reactions.
Yeah, it's quite a mix, isn't it? We've got stuff from IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, Variety, Letterboxd.
The New York Times too, right?
Yeah.
And Metacritic.
Exactly. Plus Yahoo Entertainment, the Houston Chronicle with a local take, even some program notes. It's a good spread to get a handle on things.
Okay, so first off, that title, Bob Trevino Likes It.
Yeah.
It definitely makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Who is this Bob Trevino? And, well, why should we care what he likes?
Yeah, it's intriguing. What's the hook? What actually happens in the film based on, say, the IMDb summary?
Well, the core idea, and this seems pretty consistent across the sources, is this case of mistaken identity.
Okay.
Starts when a teenage girl posts something online, and it kind of blows up, partly because this middle-aged guy, Bob Trevino, leaves a nice comment.
Okay. So one comment makes a difference.
Apparently. And then, to sort of keep the viral thing going, she ropes her dad into pretending he's Bob Trevino online.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the dad has to play along. Reluctantly, I imagine.
The sources suggest, reluctance is definitely part of it. So this setup, it sounds like it could be funny, but maybe something more too. Exploring online life.
Absolutely. It immediately sets up this tension between, who you are online versus reality. The daughter's faking it, the dad's playing a role.
And the real Bob Trevino is just out there somewhere.
Exactly. Unseen, but kind of central. It seems like fertile ground for looking at online identity, family stuff, how all that gets tangled up now.
So if we zoom out a bit, what's the general feeling from critics? Rotten Tomatoes, you said, looks pretty positive.
Yeah, the Tomato Meter score suggests, generally favorable reviews overall.
But Metacritic, you mentioned, that paints a different picture.
Right. Metacritic often aggregates scores differently, weighting certain critics, and it suggests things are maybe more mixed. Not outright panned, maybe, but more division.
Why the difference, do you think? Does it just come down to different critics having different tastes?
That's often a big part of it. It could be that while, a good number of critics found it charming or well-made, others perhaps found it a bit slight or maybe wanted more depth. The aggregates give you the headline, but the real story's in the individual takes.
Okay, let's get into those takes. What were the critics who liked it pointing to? What really worked for them?
Well, Variety, for instance, they really highlighted Barbie Ferreira's performance, called her charismatic. That seems to come up a lot.
So a strong lead performance.
Definitely. And Variety also talked about its sweet-natured charm, suggesting it hits an emotional note, finding connection in, an unexpected place.
The theme of connection keeps popping up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
More than just laughs.
It seems so. And then you have the Houston Chronicle piece. They brought in the local angle. The film won an award at a Houston festival, the filmmakers from Houston.
Oh, interesting. So there's a bit of local pride boosting it there, perhaps?
Could be. It adds that extra layer, Makes it a hometown story.
Right. What else on the positive side?
Arts views went pretty strong, calling it inspiring.
Inspiring. Wow.
Yeah, they focused on how it explores people finding, a new lease on life through these odd online links. And they also praised Ferreira and John Leguizamo, who plays the dad.
So the acting duo seems key.
Looks like it. And even the short blurb from Northumberland Film, just describing it for a program, uses words like heartwarming, talks about connection in the digital age, suggests the core message landed positively there too.
Okay, but it wasn't all praise. Let's flip it. What were the main issues for the critics who were more critical or maybe just lukewarm?
The New York Times is a good example. They saw the premise as genial, pleasant enough, but felt the execution didn't really dig deep. Used the phrase predictable tropes, like you've seen this kind of thing before. And it didn't offer much new insight.
Yeah, predictable can be tough for a comedy especially. You want familiarity, but also surprise.
Exactly, and Yahoo Entertainment sort of echoed that, calling the tone light. They suggested it might not really stick with everyone, maybe lacking that thematic weight some viewers look for.
Okay, so maybe enjoyable, but not necessarily memorable for those critics. Did we see similar things from audience reviews, like on Letterboxd?
Some of the Letterboxd comments seem to align with that, yeah. People saying it was, fine, enjoyable enough for what it was, but maybe ultimately forgettable.
So it sounds like, for many, the charm and the performances might be the main draw, even if the story itself feels a bit familiar to some.
That seems like a very plausible takeaway. Ferreira's charisma, Leguizamo's comedic skill, if those are strong, they can carry a lot. The reviews really do keep coming back to them.
Okay, stepping back from good versus bad reviews for a second. What are the big ideas the film seems to be wrestling with? What themes kept coming up across the board?
Well, social media is obviously front and center. The whole plot kicks off because of it. So themes like wanting online validation, the weirdness of internet fame, how quickly things can change online.
Yeah, the whole idea of going viral from one comment.
Right, and how real or fake online personas are.
And it's not just online, right? The family dynamic seems crucial too.
Totally. The father-daughter relationship, how they navigate this bizarre situation together, that seems to be a core part of the emotional landscape. How families adapt or don't adapt to this digital world.
And what about Bob Trevino himself, the actual guy? He seems like a bit of a mystery figure in all this.
He really does. He starts everything, but we don't seem to learn much about him from these reviews.
Is that maybe the point?
Could be. Maybe his elusiveness says something about how little we actually know about people online, even when they have an impact. Or maybe it's just a way to keep the focus tightly on the girl and her dad dealing with the fallout. He's the catalyst, but not the story itself.
Interesting thought. Okay, last piece here. The actual audience scores on Rotten Tomatoes or Letterboxd. How do they stack up against the critics, generally?
Often you see a bit of a gap, and that might be the case here too. Sometimes audience scores are higher than the critic average.
Meaning?
Meaning it might just connect more directly with viewers on an entertainment level. Maybe the charm, the humor, the performances resonate more strongly with a general audience than some of the perceived flaws pointed out by critics, like predictability. The consensus seems to lean towards enjoyable, even if not a masterpiece.
Right. So, okay, we've done this deep dive, look at all these angles. What's the sort of final verdict on Bob Trevino Likes It? If someone's asking, should I watch it? What's the summary?
I think you'd say it's got a really appealing hook, a genuinely interesting premise for today's world. It seems significantly boosted by its lead actors. Ferrera in particular gets a lot of praise. It offers a look at online life, family that's probably charming and funny.
But with caveats.
Yeah. Some critics and viewers found it a bit predictable, maybe not as deep as the premise could allow. So I guess it depends what you're looking for. If you want something sweet, well acted, maybe touching on relevant themes lightly, it sounds like a good bet.
But if you're looking for something groundbreaking or really complex thematically,
you might find it a little wanting. It really shows how subjective film is, doesn't it? What works for one person.
Totally. It definitely brings up interesting stuff about how we live online now and these weird connections we make. Thinking about all this, what part of it makes you most curious now? Is there one element that really stands out and makes you think, I'd like to see how they handled that? That's kind of where I'm left wondering.